Oh, you had it last time, didn't you?
Yeah, just your charge card.
Right, let's keep it for 10 minutes, well 5 minutes.
Well, 2 minutes.
Well, we seem to be getting a lot of these lately. Unfortunately, Derek couldn't be with us today, he's down at Bristol. So I've got the job of sending on your way. Mr. Simmons?
Suit me.
We've been rooting around trying to find a bit of it about you, like. You've been here 37 years, so there's a fair bit to find out about you. You're a bit of a rum man, I'll say that. Some of the stuff I've unearthed here, it's hardly readable, but anyway. You've been around for what, nearly 60 years now? Coming up 60 years. Born in Settle. Your dad worked in a quarry, I guess? Is that right? You started work on the railways before the beaching came along. Moved from there to the electric board. Oh, I'm getting quite good information here. Joined the Lancashire River Authority. There's one or two people who work here still who joined Lancashire River Authority as well. On the 14th of March 1966. That sounds a hell of a long while ago. Came on as a labourer. You didn't stick that very long before you graduated to driving machines. And in fact you've driven machines ever since, I guess. In those days you'd have been on drag line, would you? Yeah? You used to come to work on a motorbike and sidecar.
In the sidecars, have you?
7 bags of cement it used to hold.
You traded that in for a newer model, a Reliant Robin. Yeah. Plastic Jag, I think Glyn called it. Rumour has it you're a bit of a speed merchant, I guess.
It's 98. Just got it done front were lifted.
You told me you had a race down the M6 with Bob Fisher.
I won.
Beat the arse off him. Anyway, I think one of the first jobs that you might have been involved in, construction jobs, would have been down on the River Ribble at Samlesbury. At that time we were building a lot of flow measuring weirs for hydrometry. They were built all over the place, and one of the biggest was down at Samlesbury on the River Ribble. And it was an interesting project, and did give you an opportunity to sort of pursue one of your hobbies, which was fishing, I guess. Not content with just wetting a line at lunchtime though. You got a rather novel way of catching fish, they tell me. Decided to do it in style. Apparently they've been doing some blasting down there, and there'd have been a dynamite left over. So this fella grabbed the dynamite, tied it to a lump of wood, lit the fuse and chucked it in the river, and then took cover. And it wasn't long before the thing exploded, right? Blew half the bed up, boulders everywhere. And there'd been a lot of salmon running at the time. I think they got some eyes on these salmon. But I think all you caught were a few koi fish, wasn't it? A few chub. Blown their insides out. Undeterred, as I understand, he was still determined to catch fish, by whatever means he could. He teamed up with Glyn Lewis on the River Dunsop, trying to perfect a method of electro fishing. That's before fisheries actually got the electro fishing gear. And again, that wasn't successful. No fish again. But I'm the secretary for the local fishing club, and I have been looking through the records, and he's been doing quite well at Spade Mill using rod and line since, so he's obviously calmed down a bit. I didn't realise it, but you've also been a lifesaver in your time. Again down at Samlesbury were you? They had a flood down there which washed half the coffee dam away that they were working on, washed the piling hammer in the river. They brought a diving team in to recover the piling hammer. And one of the divers actually got tangled up in one of the escape lines and was left to you, I believe, to rescue him. Not only that, I guess you fished the hammer out with the drag line at the end of the day as well, so quite successful. It seems you're quite at home with explosives, from what I can gather. he was working on another of these weirs up at Whalley, I understand, and he put his bucket in the river and came up with a lump of old rusty iron. And they sort of looked at this for some time before they decided it looked rather like a bomb. So they rung the bomb disposal squad, who turned up with a lorry and some tackle and one thing and another. They were looking around for this bomb, and of course it still sat in the bucket. So no further ado, he said, well, where do you want it? So he said, well, we'll put it in the wagon when we've sorted it out. No further ado, he lifted the thing up and just dropped it straight in the wagon. Everybody's diving for cover. It turned out to be quite a large German bomb, yeah. Had a bit of luck there. You moved on from Whalley, I gather, to Henthorne.
Yeah.
We're going back a while now. But, I understand you developed a particular affection for a guy called Bernard Whelan that time. You might remember Bernard. Bernard had just started his engineering career then, and was quite ambitious. And being his first job, he was anxious to make sure that this job got finished on time. So I think he was pushing everybody as hard as he could. This fella decided, well, we'll pull this guy back a peg or two. So he was lowering some manhole rings onto one of the wet wells, I guess. Yeah. And for some reason or other, I don't quite know what happened, but one of the rings just slipped off the end of the sling, dropped down onto the wet well and smashed all the previous work. It took him a week to break all the concrete out and reset the thing. So that got you off to a good start with Bernard, I guess. There's another tale here, a bit of a humorous tale about him working at Dunsop Bridge one hot day, and they were all feeling rather thirsty, so they decided to go into the local pub for a drink.
Bob Fisher.
One drink soon became two, and two became three, and I think the upshot was that Bob got well and truly drunk. And Dave, being Dave, sort of took him outside to give him some fresh air and try and bring him round. Well, they no sooner got outside than Bernard Whelan stood on the bridge nearby. So he grabbed Bob, just dragged him down the riverbank and buried him in the wild rhubarbs at the side. Is that true?
Yeah, quite well led there.
Value friendship, Well, you might tend to think that, you know, that Dave was a bit of a skiver, and I suppose some of his past history would suggest he perhaps was. I mean, they used to spend Friday afternoons at the local picture house. Yeah. and I understand you were banned from every single pub in Great Yarmouth.
Yes.
But I think in truth, really, you have been a good worker for the agency. You were one of the few people who could guarantee to earn 66% bonus. That's without cheating, as I understand. Yeah. I've heard you referred to as a worker, not a shirker. And from what I've seen, I think that's very true. And somebody actually told me that when you're de-weeding a watercourse, if you've got a flail machine nearby, they need to watch out because you'll sort of push them on the way and keep them moving. Yeah? Not always the safest person in the world, but generally safe. I mean, you have to turn the machine over, I understand, down at Colbeck Brook.
Yeah.
I don't know quite what happened there. But they brought out all the tackle, the winches and everything, and couldn't shift in, so what's he do? He jumps in, a few strokes of the lever and the thing's out again. So, well, your career's set to sort of end in much the same way as it began, on a machine, I guess. And I don't think anyone will disagree. He's probably one of the best drivers that we've got on the agency at the moment. Certainly when I've seen him, there's hardly anyone can handle a machine like he can. And we are trying to get him back actually on a part-time basis to do a bit of training for us, if that's possible, and a bit of work when it comes along. I don't know whether we can fudge that, but we may do. But regardless of that outcome, you know, I think I speak for everyone in wishing him all the best for the future. I hope he has a happy retirement.
Right, thanks very
All
much.
the best to you, Dave.
Class.
Was that?
There's a few signatures to go on it yet.
You just probably want to sign it. So you have a look at the card here and see what's going on.
Do think it's the wrong one.
Can I say, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, old and new. It's grand to see some old faces, and believe me, what Bill's had to say there, I could enlighten him a lot more. There's still people here what might get in trouble for it. So. But there's one record I can divulge here. It's Fred Fisher. He still holds it. We used to have a competition to see who could go the farthest in working hours. We went to Morecambe for the day out, but Fred after this start, he went up to Cumbria, didn't he? There were loads of things like that went on, but saunas and I don't know what in working hours. You don't really want to know that, do you? But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. I won't bore you with a speech. And hopefully I'll see a lot of you again in the near future. I don't want to not see anybody again, let's put it that way. So enjoy yourselves anyway for the rest of the afternoon. Okay.